Mm. Guess who's back in the house? Here's click clack in the bow. I hope that you guys are okay during this extended quarantine. I have lost track of all days. I watched the latest episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, which is Snatch Game episode 6. And this seemed like a very light episode to me. I'm curious what you all think. I have an idea that we really got to see more of Sherry Pie during this episode, and the editors had to scramble to remove all traces of her. And it was even awkward towards the end of the episode that we have this wide shot of the main stage for the runway looks. And I saw an outfit that looked amazing. And I was like, whose outfit is that? And it was like, oh, it's Sherry. And so I really think that she shined during this episode, which we do see that she did extremely well during Snatch Game. So I honestly believe that the best parts of this episode happened the first like 10 minutes and then untucked, because Snatch Game left a lot. I don't know, it wasn't. Snatch Game is one of my favorite episodes, and it didn't give us what we wanted. So first we go into the episode, and Nicky Doll has just left, and editing made it seem as if Nicky's message wasn't read. However, Heidi came out and she stated that she actually did read Nicky's message, and the queens, talked about Nicky and what she meant to them. But we don't get any of that because it's such a hard edit. And so I actually made a comment on one of VH1's videos for Drag Race, and Heidi actually made a comment to my comment, and it was really sweet of her. I really love Heidi, and I hope that she gets to top 4. And so one thing that really stood out in the first 10 minutes of this episode, I really appreciated the relationship that was building between Heidi and Aiden. Aiden, from the previous episode, especially Untucked, a lot of the queens were coming from Aiden, and Aiden is from Georgia. Heidi is from Ramseur, North Carolina. And so they have that, small town competing on Drag Race with queens from LA, New York City. And also Heidi really kind of like unloaded a lot of her feelings onto the other girls and how they were treating Aiden. And so I really liked that Heidi checked in with Aiden to see how she was doing after Britta just kept bringing up what is the difference between them in the judges' eyes. So I really appreciated that. And then we hear Aiden saying that I will no longer be the quiet queen. And it's a bit of foreshadowing for the rest of the episode. And so I can say one thing, that there are a number of storylines that happen in Drag Race, but small city queens versus big city queens, we really were able to see that in this episode, and how Britta has just been attacking Aiden. And it's one thing to attack someone, and it's another thing to give them positive critique and tell them, this is what you can do in this particular situation. And so we see this playing out in social media, how Britta feels as if the fandom is attacking her for the way that she's been treating Aiden. But because of editing, she might have done this, but we don't actually see her telling Aiden, this is what you can do to change this. She tends to go back to, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And in a competition, you have to move forward, and you can't, I guess, rely on issues, things that have happened previously in this competition, because I can only imagine just how fast-paced it is to be on set and you're fighting for your life at every single moment. And so I think that is kind of like the major theme for this episode is small city queens versus big city queens. Another thing that happened during like the first 10 minutes is that Rue does a walkthrough, and I left out a point. So this is Snatch Game, and so there is no mini challenge because the queens have to prepare their looks and what they're going to say during Snatch Game. So the queens have an idea of who they're going to perform. And so Rue does a walkthrough, and there's a surprise person with him, Miss Vanjie. And I say for any queen that is going to audition for later seasons of Drag Race, that if you can copy paste everything that Vanjie did in 11 with how her personality shined, how she didn't necessarily have the most groundbreaking looks, but the fandom loves Vanjie. So if you can replicate that, do that, because I say that you have a person like Aiden who doesn't have a lot of experience, doesn't have a lot of money to invest in their drag, doesn't come from a drag family, and it seems as if Aiden was very isolated in Atlanta and really couldn't perform a lot. And so you have a very young queen versus a queen who has this over-the-top personality who everyone loves, that if you can marry those two together, it's a recipe for success. And kind of like playing out on social media, a lot of people have really stated that Aiden is very boring, that she has very basic, simple looks, and basic and simple doesn't really do well on a show like Drag Race because it's about being as over the top as possible. And the thing about Drag Race is that you have this platform where I think the fandom expects everyone to be exactly the same. And someone with Aiden, just from like the promo looks, you could tell that, you know, this is a different queen from the people that are currently on the season. And there is no one in this cast that is like over the age of 35, I don't think. And so Aiden has probably been doing drag for 3 or 4 years versus someone like Britta, who's probably been doing drag for like 9, 10 years. And so it's not a level playing field when you have a veteran versus a newcomer. And Aiden has received a lot of negativity from the fandom. And I don't think we've seen this level of negativity towards a non-Black queen. And so I'm really curious about the amount of hate that she has received from the fandom. So fast forward, Vanjie is in the workroom with Rue, and I love Vanjie. She's just incredible. I think Britta and Vanjie have like a similar voice. It's like a cigarette smoking lounge singer who's also a waitress at an IHOP. Like that's the best way to describe that type of a voice. And it's very bluesy and loungy. But I don't think Britta uses it to her advantage. With Vanjie, it just made her more lovable. With Britta, I think she has a way of not necessarily using it as an asset, but it's almost, you almost forget about her voice because of the I guess her ego gets in the way. And so if Britta were to remove that ego and just let the fandom get to know more about her, I think she would experience more love. Side note, she's beefing with Leslie Jones on Twitter, which is silly. I had a conversation with someone online about this, and it's like, for you to not even complete the season, and she actually like went after Leslie, she named her, for you to not have completed your season and you're beefing with someone who's influential in entertainment in New York, and this is the city where you live. Like Leslie Jones could produce the next Broadway hit, and she might not like the way that Britta has kind of like attacked Aiden on the show, but she could say that, oh my gosh, Britta is brilliant for this particular character in this play that I'm producing. And so just like a rookie move from Britta on that part. So Vanjie is in the workroom to tell people what not to do for Snatch Game and to help them prepare. And so the people that really stood out to me during the walkthrough were Gigi Good, because she wanted to do Maria the Robot. Show of hands, who before this particular episode knew anything about Maria the Robot? I briefly knew about Maria the Robot, but I didn't know a lot of kind of like information about the robot. And so I thought that this was gutsy to play a robot. And then Rue's favorite, El DeBarge, aka Crystal Method. I don't know if Crystal Method knows who El DeBarge is, or if Crystal could actually do anything with El DeBarge for Snatch Game. I don't know a lot about El DeBarge, older pop singer, affiliated with Janet Jackson. I do know that part. But I don't know if he could do anything with that. And so Crystal was going to play Poppy. Show of hands, who knows Poppy? No clue who Poppy is. But it's interesting that Poppy is a quote unquote human playing a robot. And so I'm surprised that Crystal didn't ask Gigi for advice, or maybe she did, but we just didn't see it. And so those were the two that really stood out during the walkthrough. And then like Vanjie had a cute moment with Jackie Cox, and saying that she likes to leave the workroom with men And Jackie was like, I'm taken, but thank you. That was cute. That was cute. So, Snatch Game. Heidi is playing Leslie Jones, but she's wearing the outfit that Leslie Jones wore to guest judge on Drag Race. So that was cute. But I don't know if you know this, but the outfit that Leslie Jones wore, it was actually inspired by a look by Diana Ross. Diana Ross from the 70s. Which I thought it was cute because a lot of people on the show state that Heidi reminds them of Diana Ross. So how wonderful that we get this moment where Heidi is playing Leslie Jones, who was playing Diana Ross. It's a cute moment. Cute moment. So Jackie is Lisa Rinna. One of the best actresses from Days of Our Lives. Jada is playing Cardi B, which when she said that, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work because she doesn't have that personality to play someone like Cardi B. Jan is Bernadette Peters. Show of hands, who knows Bernadette Peters? And have you ever known her to be funny if you actually know who she is? Widow is Tina Turner and Ike Turner. Gigi Maria the Robot. Aiden Patricia Quinn, who played Magenta in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Britta Jennifer Holliday. Crystal, Poppy, and Sherry is Katharine Hepburn. So, overall thoughts. Gigi prepared this character, and I feel as if she had rehearsed this days in, days out with her mother as her mother was on the sewing machine, pumping out pieces for her to wear on Drag Race. Just her back and forth with Rue was hilarious. Her calling Rue the B word. You don't have to know Maria the Robot to just laugh with Gigi and laugh with Rue laughing with Gigi. So hilarious. She gave us kind of like very scientific information about Maria, but she was also just able to just go back and forth with Rue. So I loved it completely. My favorite lines were her saying, "You trying to control me?" When Rue said reboot, and then she was like, psh, and she went from like the desk and rising up. When she was malfunctioning, perfection. The physical comedy of her trying to pick up the cards to read them, that alone was hilarious. And achieving the look. So, perfection. Jackie was hilarious. So I know Lisa from Days of Our Lives. I don't watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But apparently since she's gotten on, I guess she is on QVC or the Home Shopping Network like every other week promoting products. And so she was promoting different products. She was drinking wine. And so I don't have to see the Housewives show to see that Jackie was funny. Jackie was hilarious. She didn't really give me Lisa Rinna except for the wig. The lips could have been bigger. Like Lisa is known for her lips. She was like the first actress to actually go overboard on lip filler. And she had an implant at one point and she removed it. And I'm sure now she does dermal filler. but she was hilarious. And I guess she name drops her husband all the time, Lisa. And so that was hilarious. Putting in the beef between her and Vanderpump. Perfect. I loved the it's very tricky to do two characters in one. Some people have done it, but Widow as Tina and then Ike, I actually enjoyed her more as Ike because she was able to use historical clues to get a joke. But it only works if you know the history. And so it's a stretch sometimes to do characters, especially like going back to Crystal Method. Like if you don't know Poppy, you don't get the jokes. And so I actually prefer Widow as Ike. I know that with everything with happening with Sherry, that she's disqualified. But I'll just say this. I actually thought that Sherry was going to win Snatch Game just because of how hilarious she was. And I'll just say that. Everyone else was unmemorable. Aiden crashed and burned as Patricia Quinn. And one of the guest judges, Daniel, he said it best that Rue kept trying to give Aiden something to play with. And Aiden just kept saying, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know, playing kind of like the older woman with dementia, which doesn't work at all. You can look at previous episodes of Snatch Game and see, you know, why some people failed horribly. There weren't a lot of shots of Jada, and so I wouldn't say she was good or bad, but I guess she was okay. She was able to get in a little bit. I actually don't even remember Heidi. I'm sure she had some cute moments, but I honestly don't remember it. So they go into the workroom and there's some emotional moments. Widow talks about being homeless and how she, from sunup to sundown, she would drink to get through the pain. And now she's in a very good place. She's married. She's been married for 2 years. And I really love Widow. We've gotten to really know Widow as a drag queen and her persona. And so I really am looking forward to seeing more from Widow. Maybe Widow and Gigi and Jackie were the stars of this particular episode because they really shined. So we get to the runway. Rue is wearing a pink wig. I'm not sure if this is the first time we've seen Rue in a pink wig, but I loved it. The pink wig with the metallic dress seemed to kind of like clash to me a little bit. Like I would have loved Rue in like a gold metallic dress. Like that would have been beautiful. But it was okay. It was okay. And so the category on the stage is Frozen Eleganza. So this was not my favorite runway. And everyone is open to interpretation. But I feel as if the queens weren't able to shine being boxed in. And I would say that my favorite look was Gigi, because it wasn't Frozen the movie. It was her own interpretation. So she was like a play on, I think it's the Good Humor Man, where she was the Good Humor woman, where she's wearing this kind of like standard white uniform, but it's like a skirt with a thick belt, a huge ice cream cone, the Good Humor hat, and she painted her nose pink. And I think she had like ice crystals in her makeup. So she was my favorite because she was able to take the homework assignment and then put it on its head a little bit. So everyone else was a little blah, even though I would say that Jada looked beautiful, but I didn't love it with the runway challenge. So I'm not even going to talk about the looks because I thought they were blah. We learn that Jan, Widow, Heidi, Jada are safe. I was actually most excited for Heidi and Jada that they were safe because I did not want them to be in the bottom, even though they didn't have like bottom worthy performances, but I was so nervous for them. The tops and the bottoms are Jackie, Gigi, Aiden, Britta, Sherry, and Crystal. Gigi wins, which is a major. I was so happy. I'm rooting for, I'm sure I've said this in previous episodes, but I'm rooting for Gigi because she's a local girl. She lives in LA. And I hope that she makes it to top 4. And she really made a risky decision with Maria the Robot. And she succeeded. So I was really happy for her. And so we get to the bottom, and it's Crystal, Britta, and Aiden. And so with Crystal, I think she looked great. She definitely was in character, but none of the jokes were landing. And I think I will kind of like research who Poppy is just to get more about her. But I would say that she had more of a character than Aiden. So we learn that the bottom 2 are Britta and Aiden. And of course, I think, well, I know Britta is pissed because she says, you know, she's been in the bottom the previous 2 episodes, and she thought that she was challenging herself. But she chose Jennifer Holliday, and she really didn't give us any jokes. And I thought it was cute that Rue at one point said, "Where are the jokes? Where are the jokes?" A la Trinity the Tuck from the latest season of All Stars. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Thanks for joining the live. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. And so Britta and Aiden performed to Let It Go. And this is not a song that I would think would be played on Drag Race. And so, and if you are going to perform Let It Go, I think you have to do 2 extremes. You have to be theatrical, almost Shakespearean, or you have to be sketch comedy set, where it is like Saturday Night Live level comedy. And I knew that Britta was going to deliver. But with Aiden, there's still this debate about Aiden's performance background, I do believe that Aiden performed for the first time at Mickey's about what 2 months ago. Morgan McMichaels was the host of the night, and she said that this is her first performance outside of Drag Race, her first performance. Because I don't see performance videos for Aiden online. I don't see any. Like, I will double check her Instagram, but I just don't see performance videos. I don't even know if there was normally before tours, the queens, oh, thanks. Oh, thank you. Normally some seasons they have a tour, which I didn't see a tour for this particular season. So they perform, and my eyes stayed on Britta. Britta, in her own words, gave us a Broadway performance, and I would say she definitely did. She even had this really cute moment with some type of fire, which I've seen queens do that before on stage. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's a spark that's created in their hand. So I actually love that. But with Aiden, a lot of Aiden's critiques were that the fandom believed that she was ill-prepared, that she was very green, as Cheryl just stated, that she's so green that it appears that she's lazy and doesn't want to rise to the level of the other queens. But I think she really was in her head during the performance. I think she believes that her look for the runway, which was very simple, was going to save her. And I think, we don't see everything, but I really didn't see her prepare to lip sync, where I think there was a moment where Britta steps away and prepares the words. And so I think we see that in her facial expressions. Her face looked just dead in certain moments. And it's really unfortunate because I thought that Aiden was going to be at least top 5. I love her aesthetic. I love the way she paints. I actually love her simple is more aesthetic to her garments. And you see that play out in the looks that she wears post filming. But I know that she will probably appear on our All Stars because she is a polarizing figure. And typically figures like her get on All Stars very quickly. So All Stars 5 has taped. It's going to premiere in June. And so for the next season, I'm sure she will be on it. So I will be rooting for her on All Stars, and I can't wait to see her growth and development from season 12 to All Stars. And so I'm curious for you all that watched the episode. Did you think Britta deserved to stay? She is unique, and I really like her too. And I love seeing her perform at Mickey's. It was a great performance, but I feel like she lets her face, like she said earlier on, that she lets her face unify her looks, and she lets her face speaks for the character, which is true. And so for those of you who watched, oh, I skipped a part. So Rue says that Britta is actually going to remain in the competition, and Aiden is sent home. So for those of you who watched the episode, did you think that Aiden was going to stay? I thought Aiden was going to stay because Britta has been in the bottom twice previously. So I was really shocked. So, but when you look at the two performers, I think what sold it for Rue was the trick with the fire. Had she not done that, I think Aiden would have stayed. But Aiden really needed to bring something to that performance. Tired of Aiden playing the victim. I would say, I don't know if she played the victim, but I would say that she was in her head a lot. And she's really new to drag. And of course, we only see what the editors show us, but I do think that the queens were attacking her even more so than what we saw in Untucked and in the workroom. And so just imagine if you were constantly receiving negative feedback in your ear from the people that are closest to you. You're filming in this small space. And so I think that she was just reserved. And so at the beginning of the episode, the poor me, I don't have access to this, or I don't. She did say that a lot. And I would say that we have seen that same thing said, that I don't have access to this, I don't have access to that. And a good example is Monique Hart. Monique Hart stated that she had the fewest suitcases when she arrived her season. I think that was season 10. And Monique Hart made a lot of her garments in the workroom. And so as a queen, you do have to be crafty and you have to be prepared to construct garments in the workroom. And so I would say that there were moments when I wish that Aiden would have fought harder, like with the ball episode with the 3 lady baller looks, like her final look with the corset that she put balls on. I didn't understand why she didn't wear, like she could have easily worn something as the bottom portion. Like she could have worn black leggings. Like she could have wore the leggings that she wore in her entrance look. That would have completed the look. Or she could have wore like a black ball gown. That was lazy. But I think in hindsight, she wishes she would have, I know she wishes that she would have done things differently. But I feel as if, you know, we do things and we're in situations in life where we feel stuck and we don't know how to move out of the situation. And I think she experienced that a lot, which is unfortunate. But this isn't the end of the road for her. She will go on to do good things once coronavirus fever has died down and nightclubs reopen. I'm sure that, I know that she'll be booked a lot. Cheryl knew, oh wait, it just went away. I didn't see what it said. But, oh wait, Cheryl knew what? Oh. Cheryl, wait, which Cheryl? I don't know. I'm not sure what Cheryl you're talking about. Cheryl Hole from the UK episode? I'm not sure. But Aiden will not be on the, that's, Oh, I have to like go back up and look because I'm not sure. Oh, I I see what's happening now. Sorry. Oh, hi, Nigel. I feel like no matter what you come with the actual pressure of filming, it just disappeared. You almost have to be more mentally prepared than suitcase prepared. That is so true. For all of you that are watching, go follow Princess Pudding, aka Nigel, an amazing up and comer YouTuber who does amazing shows. So if you go to the chat, you'll see him. Go subscribe. He is amazing. Check him out. So Princess Pudding was saying that you have to be more mentally prepared than suitcase prepared. And that is so true. I would say Monique Hart is a prime example. Monique Hart was mentally prepared for her season. She knew that she didn't have the best wardrobe. And so she was going to create her looks in the workroom. And my favorite look of hers. Oh, I am behind. Sorry. My favorite look of Monique's was the look where it was the silver gown with the, I think they're paillettes, with the large sequin paillettes. So beautiful. And it was amazing that she made that in the workroom. And so that's my favorite look of hers on her non-All-Stars season because she looked incredible. And not only was Monique Hart mentally prepared, but she really bulldozed her way into the following season of All-Stars and just had this amazing glow up. And she has gone on to have an amazing career. She is releasing music. She is touring the world. And so I love Monique. And my favorite, yes, I love Monique. And I do love the episode of AJ and the Queen with Monique. She was so good. So she has a song called SUKM. I think it's Suckum. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. That is my favorite Monique Hart song. If you haven't heard that song, listen to it. It's incredible. I actually saw her perform it live. And she is incredible. So support Monique because she deserves it. So let me know your thoughts about the episode. Who do you think won the Snatch game? I think Gigi rightfully won. Even though Sherry, I thought that she was a second close. I love her music is iconic. Beat, slay, bumping, love, queen, so yes. Monique actually has a great voice too. I love her voice. A lot of the queens, when they perform their music, they actually perform over a track, but she's able to perform live. So I love her. So who do you think won Snatch Game? How does this Snatch Game compare to the other Snatch Games in history? I always think about the year that there was a tie between, oh my gosh, Ginger Minge. Who was it? It was a tie between Ginger Minge and someone else. Like, that was a great Snatch Game. This is probably one of my least favorite Snatch Game episodes. We didn't get a lot of character reveals through the characters. And so it just seemed like it left a lot to be imagined. I mean, for like Jada to do Cardi B and not just be over the top, out of her seat. For Cardi B, I would have probably done like a fashion reveal. I would have mentioned Offset. I would have mentioned the baby. I would have rapped. I would have had maybe even a plastic surgery reveal. I don't know. But there's so much that she could have done with Cardi B. Like I would have like had like a money gun. Um, oh, Cheryl, thank you. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, I would have had like a money gun. I would have I don't know, just like there's so much to do for Cardi B. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, just like Cardi B is so iconic. I actually never watched. She was on, I think, Love and Hip Hop New York. I never watched it, but even though I haven't watched it, she has iconic memes from Love and Hip Hop. The best one is when she is wearing braids and she's talking to somebody and the camera like pans around her like she's spinning or something and she says, what is she? Oh my gosh, forever. That's iconic. She could have done that. On a reunion show, she had the line, for what reason? She could have done that. There is so much to do with Cardi B. And so I'm just really shocked. Like, she is a pageant girl, and I know that she's performed Cardi B in her repertoire of songs that she pulls from. But I'm surprised that she just didn't give us more. I fell in love with Cardi B on Love and Hip Hop. Oh, okay, I love Forever too. But there's so many memes from Love and Hip Hop that I don't know. I guess she could have delivered more. And someone actually made a great comment earlier that with Aiden, I think what was really upsetting about Aiden in this episode is that she has this very dark aesthetic that she didn't choose like Morticia Adams or a who else? Just anyone who has a very dark aesthetic because it's so easy for her to pull from that. It was just kind of like confusing, like, why not play to your strengths? But I do think that her doing Magenta from Rocky Horror would have been hilarious. Even though, like, I love Rocky Horror. I've actually gone to, like, live reenactments of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And they're kind of like live reenactments that happen across the country. And it's just really weird that she didn't choose something like, I'm sure, I don't know if Rocky Horror is her favorite movie, but why not play to your strengths? And so with I never knew Patricia Quinn's name. If I saw her walking down the street, I wouldn't know her. And so it's very difficult, like Crystal Method with Poppy, it's very difficult to pull and to make it funny if you can't give it the breath, the life that it needs in order to be successful. So yeah, so that was a letdown. For Heidi, her Leslie Jones, she did have like some cute moments. I actually remember with her darker the berry, the sweeter the juice comment. That was cute. It would have been cute if they actually don't have phones, but if she could have like pulled out something like a phone to mimic Leslie live tweeting. And so she could have actually taken like a note card, colored it black, and then said it was a phone. Sherry, okay, so Sherry Pie, you have to admit that her scribble and then saying the actual the what the guest said, that was hilarious. I don't know, this whole like Sherry Pie scandal. If I were the other queens, I would be so pissed because it has really taken away from what they have done on the show. It just sucks. But Sherry is hilarious. I didn't know Sherry is actually like 28, 27. I thought she was older. And this is where Sherry like lives and breathes. So who else? I don't think Jackie could have done anything that would have made her more funny. She was just brilliant in what she did. And I'm curious where she was hiding that wine glass. That was cute. So yeah, those were my thoughts about Snatch Games. So it just wasn't my favorite out of all the other Snatch Games. So I'm curious what you guys think. So thank you all who joined the live. I really appreciate it. You added so much to this. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And everyone follow Princess Pudding, aka Nigel. Incredible YouTuber. Support him now. To all of my new subscribers, thank you so much for joining this experience that I'm on with you all. I really appreciate it. It means so much to me. Thank you for your support. And stay tuned for the rest of my videos. Cheryl, I will be safe. Thank you so much. I am trying to be as safe as possible during the quarantine. And I will be posting more videos today, so stay tuned for those. And I hope that you all stay safe during this very stressful time of uncertainty. But please be safe. Have a wonderful day, guys. Until next time. Besos.